Welcome everyone in the client acquisition and scaling family. Happy Monday. This is always the place to be every single Monday to feed your mind. And as we say, if you change your mind, you can change your business. If this is your first time here, go ahead and type welcome into the comments. Type welcome if it's your first time. If you want SMS reminders so you don't miss these, go ahead and type SMS into the chat or the comments if you would like to get on our SMS notification list. For those of you guys who might not know who I am, my name is Lisa, and today I am going to share with you just a story about how finding too many new customers was actually hurting my business, if you can imagine, and how some basic math changed everything. So who wants to learn some simple math today? If you do, please type the word math in the comments. If you would like to learn the simple math that not only changed my business, but allowed me to continually reach my revenue goals, both in the past and currently. So every time I have a new revenue goal, I use the simple formula to actually change my business. If you want to know that, type math. And for those of you guys who type math, there's something special at the end for you. So I'm going to give you the formula today. I'm going to show it to you. And we're going to talk about how this simple formula can change your business. And you can do that as well. Okay. So at the end, I'm going to give that to you, but only for those of you who type math, show me you're serious about it. I just want to make sure you guys are listening, pay attention. Yeah, beautiful. Lots of math typed in the comments. I appreciate it. Now, if you're watching the replay, I also want you to blow up the comments, play along, type things into the comments as well that I asked you to, so I know you're serious and we'll give you the same things as well. Awesome, awesome. Love it. All right, so I want to start by just telling you kind of a short story, just a little bit about when I started my business, right? So I quickly figured out when we started our business, we literally figured out very quickly how to actually attract leads. It's one of the things that I'm known for is my lead gen methods. And I was landing customers, tons of customers. Awesome, right? Who thinks that's awesome? Well, it wasn't awesome, right? It actually wasn't awesome. And I know, right? Who doesn't want more customers, right? I'm insane to say I was getting too many leads. I was getting too many customers, right? Who doesn't want more customers? Well, me at the time, but I didn't know it. I was so hyper-focused on getting more customers that all I could focus on was that. And I focused on little else in my business. And I literally became obsessed with landing more customers. In fact, it became a game to me. I wouldn't stop. I was like out of control almost. I just needed more and more and more because I felt like that was going to help me reach my goal. And back then, during this story, my goal was to reach 250,000 for our business. We wanted to reach 250,000. And at that time, we had already broke the six-figure mark. So it was amazing. I was making right around $140,000 in our business. And that was my dream. That's what I needed, right? That's the exact number I needed to quit my day job at the time. And back then I still had a day job. And getting to the 140K, while it was difficult, it seemed almost too easy looking back. Like we got there pretty quickly within about a year and a half, we were hitting that mark. And it was easy. But then the next 140K proved to be nearly impossible, right? So we went from nothing to about 140K so fast that I thought, oh, this is easy. And then nothing. I couldn't get us past that mark. I struggled, right? No matter where you are or where you want to be today in your revenue goals, you're going to have plateaus just like I did, right? That you're going to get stuck on. And there I was stuck at 140K, right? Which is ironic since that was the exact number I needed to quit my day job. I struggled. I pulled my hair out. I mean, I was frustrated. If If you can relate, type relate in the chat, right? If you can relate, like, man, I'm struggling to reach my goals. I'm pulling my hair out. I'm just frustrated. Seems like you can't get over a plateau and you can't move forward no matter how hard you try. And what was really killing me was that I was bringing in more customers, but I still was stuck at the same revenue. And it just didn't make sense. And all the while, that was the problem, right? I simply kept plugging away, getting more clients, any clients, because that was the key, in my opinion, to increasing the revenue, right? That was my key. I just thought if I could just get more and more and more and more, we'd figure this out. And then I learned something I'm going to share with you today, something that literally changed everything for me. And it was so simple, I practically wanted to kick myself, right? And I'm sure you can guess what that was, right? Yeah, if you guess simple math, right? Math, which you all typed this morning, you are right. You are right. So just to kind of set the stage, right? Here I was one day, I was struggling, could not seem to get ahead. And we had just celebrated, like we just had a great week the week before. We brought in 3 new SEO customers. Whoo, man, we were hitting it. And I was excited. I'm like, see, I knew we could get ahead. And then the next week, boom, 2 customers quit. 2 of our SEO customers left. I can't express how broken I felt when that happened, right? I spent every free moment looking for customers. And it felt like every time I took 3 steps forward, I was taking 3 steps back. And I couldn't seem to ever move forward. And it was maddening, right? And as I sat there in tears, I remember I was in tears, literally contemplating throwing in the towel. Like, you know what? This sucks. If this is what a business is like, it stinks. Anyone feel like that? Anyone get frustrated? Anyone, get tired? Put in the chat, me. Put in the chat, me. Put in the comments, me. If you're frustrated and this has happened to you, right? It happens to everyone. Unfortunately, I didn't know it at the time. Certainly, I blame myself. I thought it was only me, right? And I was actually in one of the darkest places in our business. I was seriously considering quitting. And it wouldn't be the only time I seriously considered that, but this is one of the times. And then something happened that would literally change my business. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So what I was missing in my business was just that simple math I'm referring to, right? Remember, I was spending all of my time looking for new customers. That's what I did, day in and day out. And I actually didn't need any more customers. Wait, what? I didn't need any more customers to reach the goal I had set for myself. Now, right now, if you're thinking I'm insane, I would have thought so too, right? I would have thought so too, seriously. And the reason being is because I was bringing in all the customers we needed for continual growth. They were all coming in, but I was losing customers, right? Losing the customers we brought in was the problem. I mistakenly thought I just needed to bring in more because this was the nature of the beast. This was the nature of the business. More, right? When in fact, that wasn't the problem at all. I mistakenly thought I just simply needed more customers, more money, more time to do all this work. That's what I needed. What I didn't stop to consider was just the basic math, right? The only number I was focused on was how much money I wanted to make. That's the only number I knew. It's the only number I talked about. It's the only number that went through my head on a regular basis, what I wanted to make. So I went out and I kept plugging away, trying to magically reach that number. I had no plan. I had no strategy. And more importantly, I had no math. Now, do I kick myself? No. let's be honest, right? I didn't have a business background. I wasn't taught basic business skills. I was just like most of you guys. I was just somebody who wanted to get out of my day job, use a skill I had, and have the freedom I wanted in my life. And what I learned, the math that changed my business and my life was super simple. Okay. I had an idea of how many customers I needed to reach my revenue goals. And that's the simple math. In fact, when I look back, I had actually achieved that level of lead generation, right? I was bringing in the exact number of leads that, had I kept all of my customers happy and had I done the right things in my business, I would have easily reached that $250,000 mark I was striving for. Frankly, when I go and look back, and I did do a long search back, I actually had enough lead generation and enough business coming in that I could have actually exceeded that goal easily in a year. Yet I never knew it, right? I never knew it. I didn't understand that it wasn't a game of lead gen. There was this entire business that had to happen, right? So had I stopped and taken care of the customers I was bringing in and did not simply keep churning, keep going out there, more leads, more customers, that's the goal, that's how I make more money, I actually would have reached those revenue goals much sooner. And at every stage in my business, every plateau I hit, I would have reached those goals much quicker. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a calculator I came up with. It's a very simple calculator, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to put it on the screen. Don't worry about taking a screenshot. Don't worry about figuring out the math, because I'm going to give you this calculator for all those people that type math. And if you didn't do it, type it in. For all those people that type math, I'm going to give you this calculator. Okay. But I want to tell you about it. I want to show you it, and I want to explain it to you. So if you will give me a minute and let me get that set up for you, I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. Okay, and perfect. I see it on the screen. So let me share with you the simple math I was talking to. So I said in the invitation, 2 + 2 = success. And it really is 2 fields. That's all I need to know is 2 numbers. And I can quickly give myself a picture of what success looks like. So let me go over this with you for a minute. I call this my simple math revenue goal calculator, right? Simple math revenue goal calculator. And there's 2 numbers I need to know. The first one's easy. What's my goal? Depending on what your goal is, you type in your goal there. The second number is an annual customer value. Now, obviously, it has to be an average, but what's the annual customer value? So back then I was selling a lot of SEO. I was selling a lot of website design. That's what I sell a lot of. And so when you think about SEO, I don't charge people a down payment. I simply do monthly fees. And if I wanted to make $120,000 in a year, I go over here and I just do a little simple math, right? So in my SEO, I have my one-time service. Let's pretend you do charge a down payment. Maybe you make that down payment $2,000. And then you have a monthly recurring revenue of $1,000. You'll notice it changes my ACV, my annual customer value, the one time plus 12 times the monthly. I would come in here and I would just plug in that $14,000, and notice I would only need 9 customers. 9 SEO customers is all I would need if they were paying me on average, right? On average, this $1,000. Now, let's make it even easier. Let's talk to ourselves and say, well, what happens if I could sell on average $2,000 a month? monthly packages. Well, then my ACV goes up to 26,000. And if I plug that into the calculator, I only need 5 customers to reach $120,000. 5. Think about that a minute. I was out literally busting my butt to get as many customers as I needed. And I often landed $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month customers. And here's the number I need. I only needed 5 of those. But when you bring on 3 and you lose 2 because you're not paying attention or you're not doing all the things in your business you need to do, it's a never-ending churn of customers. Seeing it this way really cleared things up for me. It really changed the way I looked at my business, because I knew that going from $1,000 a month with no down payment, right? And I still don't do down payments, but going from $1,000 a month, and again, I put it into my simple calculator, and my calculator gives me, I need 10 customers. But if I could increase the value of this customer, and I'm not saying you have to land them at 2,000, but let's say I got my 10 customers and I was making my $120,000, okay? And so I had my 10 customers and I want to double that and earn 240. Basic math would tell me I just need 10 more customers. But do you? And that's where I was missing. Exactly missing. I don't need 10 more customers, because if I take care of these 10 and do an amazing job for them, so if I take care of my 10 and I do an amazing job for them, they might then on average, right? Not everyone, but on average become 15,000 customers or $1,500 a month customers, which gives me 18,000. And when I type in 18,000, I only need 7 customers to make the same money. But you know what? We said we wanted to now up our goal. So we just type in our calculator, I only need 13. Well, I already had 10. I only need 3 more customers to reach double the price if I could increase the value of the customer. I really want you to, if you're listening right now and this is like mind-blowing stuff, it was to me when I learned it. I was like, wait, what? Put it in the chat, mind blown, whatever you want to type. Like, put something in the chat and let me know that I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy, that this stuff is so simple. Yet I was missing it. I was struggling. I wasn't getting new customers that I kept. I was just churning, more. I could have taken the same customers I had, paid attention to them and kept them and spent my time doing that. And I would have reached my goals so much faster. Now, depending on what you do. Yeah. And blown, right? A lot of stuff to think about. When you look at this, it seems so simple, doesn't it? And we know it's not simple to get a $1,500 a month customer. But here's the thing. When you only have 5 or like, so let me just put this in here. If I were to make this a $2,000 a month customer and I put the $24,000 in here, notice we're back to 10 customers. I want you to think of other services. So if you have SEO customers, could you be selling them a website? Could you be selling them monthly hosting? Could you be adding on some AdWords or social media? We don't always have to make the additional revenue from our customers in the actual thing they came on board for. Maybe as we do a great job, they want to spend more money. But the idea is simple. The more each customer makes for you, the less customers you need. In fact, notice once I up the rate of what my customer's spending, I only need the same number of customers. Had I learned this, literally, had I had a calculator like this, it's simple math. But had I had this calculator 5 years ago, 8 years ago, I would have reached my goal so much easier. But more importantly, I would have saved myself the stress, the tears, the frustration, all of the negative things that came with struggling in my business. And I don't want that for you guys, right? So somebody give me, type it in the chat, type it in the comments. Somebody give me, what's a number you want to reach? Let's talk it through. What's a number you want to reach? What's a good goal for most of you guys? Is it 100,000? Is it 250? Is it 500,000? Think about the number and type it in the chat. Or if you don't want everyone to see it, just I want you to keep that number in mind. I want you to think about that very number and what that number is, because then we're going to come and do an assessment and say, okay, on average, put the stuff in this calculator. I want you to write it down. If you charge $1,000 setup and then $2,000 a month, if you don't charge setup, don't put anything in there. If for web hosting, for example, you charge a website $3,500 on average and $45 a month for hosting, notice the $3,500 plus 45 times 12, the annual customer value is 4,040, right? So let's say that we're only doing web design and our number's 4,040. It's going to take 60 websites to reach 240. That's a lot. It's good knowing this, right? Because then what this helped me realize, another thing this calculator helped me realize, was the recurring is the number we're really looking for, right? The recurring is the number we're really looking for. And the higher the number, the less number of customers I need. So instead of spinning my wheels trying to find a ton of lower value customers, what if I put all my energy into finding the higher value customer? Now that's a choice. Many people will tell you it's easier to find 60 web development customers, but remember, after the first year, you're still getting this $45 a month times 12 times however many customers are paying it. So you don't need to, you could take that out of your revenue goal because you're already getting that. Now this is a simple calculator. When you go through one of our programs, for example, Agency Fast Track X Success, we have a much more detailed calculator that allows you to put in recurring services that continue to recur, one-time services. It's much deeper than this calculator. And our students can actually calculate to the letter exactly how many customers they need, how many that leads to be in a month. And it has a rolling type of scale. And those are the kind of tools that in a program such as ours that you can tap into that will help you literally figure out the math. But this calculator is meant to just give you a good idea of, what you'd want. If you want 500,000 and you're doing 24,000 a year, you only need 21 customers. Now, will you get them all in 1 year? Maybe not. But the trick is, and the biggest key to my success has been learning not to lose the customers I had, learning to take care of the customers I brought in. I spent all that time finding them. It didn't make sense to let them go. And once I saw the math, once I was able to see it in writing, so to speak, it really drove home the point that I didn't have a lead generation problem. In fact, I had a client retention problem, but I was off trying to solve my lead gen problem instead of my client retention problem. So that's what simple math can do for you in your business. Just knowing how many customers you need, what the value of each customer is, and then plugging in the goal you'd like to make annually in revenue. Now, again, I know it's more complicated than this if you sell multiple services, and we have a much more in-depth calculator in our program. But for those of you on the call, for those of you on the replay, if you want to start with this simple calculator, you're simply going to type math in the comments. No matter when you're seeing this, just type math in the comments and we'll get you this simple calculator. So you can at least start looking at what your revenue goals are and how you're going to get there based on these numbers. Anybody think this is cool? Anybody love seeing a number? Love the math? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Cool stuff. Again, mind-blowing stuff to me. Something little like this can change your business. So where we're going with all this is to remind you guys, right, that sometimes you have to get out of your own head. You have to take a deeper look at your business, because what I thought was the problem, a lead generation problem, turns out it was a client retention problem. In fact, I had no problem getting the leads, obviously, but I could not keep them. And you might be in the opposite. You might have problem getting customers, but you can keep them once you get them. So whatever problem you need to figure out, the nice part is when you know the math, you know exactly how many customers you need. The same applies for almost everything you do in your business. For example, if I know when I sit down and I talk to 10 leads, on average, I'll bring in 1 customer, and that's been pretty consistent for me, then again, I know my math. I need to get 10 leads before I get 1 customer. So if I need 5 more customers that year, I know I have to at least get in front of 50 people for my sales ratio. You see, when I started my business, I didn't know a thing about business. And I struggled because I wasn't in this type of business mindset. I was so busy working in my business, getting the work done, doing all the roles, that I couldn't even see what was right in front of me. And it was simple. It was simple math. So now that you know the simple math and you have your revenue goal in mind, okay, so I want you to think of it again. Put that number in your head, write it down on a piece of paper in front of you. How do you plan on getting there? So like I mentioned in the first Monday mindset, right? I plan on giving you guys a ton of value. Look, that calculator, it's great value. I'm going to give you tons of this kind of stuff over the next several months. And if you stay with me over the next few years, right? But I'm also going to be talking about our programs, and I'm going to tell you about them on these calls as well. And our programs are designed to actually fast track your business. So you don't have to learn everything on your own. So you don't have to make mistakes I made. So you don't have to go down those horrible paths where you're banging your head on the desk, or worse, like I was, in tears many days, feeling defeated, feeling overwhelmed, suffocating in my business. And instead of learning it over the next several months, or over the next even years, our program in a few short weeks can actually show you how to do everything. Not only do we have calculators, bigger and better than the one you just saw, but we also have all the tools and the program you need to skip the line and literally figure out all the things you need to figure out to move your business forward. Now, do I promise you're going to figure everything out in 8 weeks? No, you're not. But you'll now have the tools that it took me 8 years to figure out. You're going to do it in 1/10 of the time, figuring out those parts, right? So we can clearly define a strategy for success. Now, if you're not in one of our programs and you would like to make a change in your business and you would like to get on the fast track to success, I want you to type fast track in the comments. If you're watching the replay, I want you to type fast track in the comments. And what will happen when you do that? Nobody's going to pounce on you and try to sell you anything. In fact, you can't even get into our program right now. It is closed. We only open it every 8 to 12 weeks, depending on what's going on in my life, because it's a live program and I need to be there with you. But what's going to happen is somebody on my team is going to reach out to you and set up a success strategy call with me. So you're going to get to meet with me, and I'm going to see what's going on in your business. We're going to talk about where you are in your business. And I'm going to give you some pointers, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and I'm really going to dig in to try to find the root problem in your business. Now, if one of our programs is a good fit after we talk, I'm going to tell you about it. Why wouldn't I? If not, that's okay too. Now, our next flight in Agency Fast Track X Success starts in August. And I hope some of you will be there that aren't in the flight right now. But if you're not, after you talk to me on that strategy session, that's okay. you're still going to walk away with some clarity in your business. And let me give you an idea of what clarity looked like. And I don't know if Colin's on the call. If you are Colin, say hi in the chat. But Colin was on our call last week. And if you missed it, you missed a great call. Colin was our hot seat. He literally jumped on for 45 minutes, talked and shared what happened to him, what his experience was. He shared some amazing nuggets with everyone. So grab that call if you missed it. And if you missed it and you want that and you want us to send you a link to it, type Colin in the chat. We'll get you a link to that. But what Colin did is he jumped on a strategy call with me. One simple strategy call changed his business, right? He joined our program. But in that strategy call, Colin set 3 goals he wanted to achieve in 60 days. Simple math, simple math. He wanted 2 hours a week back in his life. He wanted to make a monetary value in the next 60 days. And he wanted to add a monetary value of recurring income in his business. And you can watch the call. He actually tells us what those numbers are, but I never like to speak for anyone else. But not only did Colin exceed those goals, he made more money than he thought he would, but he did it in less time. He literally did it in 45 days instead of 60 days. Why? Because he had a strategy. We strategized on that call, and he had accountability. He knew I was going to ask him 60 days later how he did. And he didn't want to disappoint me. It's funny how we don't want to disappoint other people, but why are you disappointing yourself? I've had to learn that very lesson. I remember Colin had a program, showed him exactly what to do. He was in our program, but it all started with a strategy session, right? So a strategy session is the first step in making a change. Now, if you've got value out of this live stream, and you'd like to strategize about getting your business to the next phase, again, drop fast track in the comments. If you're watching the replay, type fast track in the comments, okay? Now, I promised you guys you were gonna get that calculator. Remember, that calculator, as simple as it might seem, is gonna get your head in the right place. And remember, these Monday mindsets are about just that, changing our mind so we can change our business. Getting our head to see the math, getting the emotion out of the decisions we make. You see, what happened to me back then was I was a gamer. I like to gamify everything. And you might have this personality. Many tech folks do. Gamifying something is great unless you're not playing by the right rules. And I was not. I was gamifying, saying, I had to bring as many customers as possible, and that was my measure of success. That's the number I was celebrating, when in fact, it was the wrong number. I needed to be celebrating keeping my customers happy, not getting more. So remember, I promised you if you would type math into the comments, I will give that simple calculator to you. That is my gift to you today. So if you want it, drop math in the comments. Somebody from my team will actually send you the link where you can get that. And in that same space where you can get that calculator, there's going to be a form for you to fill out. If you're not in our program, you can get a free strategy session. Remember, guys, to change your world, you need to change your mind. And when you change your mind, you're going to change your business. Thank you for joining me on this Monday Mindset. As always, we try to drop nuggets to help you. We're here every week, no matter if it's a holiday, at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a productive and profitable week, everyone, and enjoy your holiday if it's today.